Well, Mama, it is so exciting. We are here podcasting again, and this time we get to talk about your new book, Love Ignites Peace, Our Next Evolution. Congratulations.
Voila!
I love it. Oh my gosh, it looks so good. For those that are listening, you have to go online and look at it. It is the cutest with the little purple cover, the big, beautiful heart.
I've actually had lots of compliments on the cover already. A lot of people are going, wow, that is a really beautiful cover. And then I have to always give a shout out to you because you really had the inspiration for the cover.
It did. It came right through.
It came right through and I love it.
So, no, and Joao, we love working with him. He helped us design that heart as well. So,
Yes.
super excited. Well, you originally launched a condensed version of this book in May of 2023, but have spent the last 2 years expanding what you had originally written and refining your thoughts and wisdom, which is super exciting because everybody that read it the first time already loved it. So, I can only imagine that they're going to love it even more. And I'm just so excited. There's so much in this book that I know is going to help so many people. And I took the liberty of gathering a few of the testimonials of people that have already read the book. And I wanted to read one to kick us off because I just thought it was so good. But it said, in her inspiring and life-changing book, Love Ignites Peace, Our Next Evolution, Paige illuminates the joyful, abundant, and harmonious life we can live when love becomes our epicenter. Her brilliant concept of Love 6 Actions is an enlightening and tangible framework for evolving us past fear into healing our collective hearts and minds. Living love as an action is the gateway to lasting peace and the beginning of a paradigm shift our world so desperately needs. So that's written by Jenna Principe, a lifestyle and self-help blogger and writer, and I'll share some more of your readers' thoughts so far. But before we do that, I wanted to kick off with the synopsis of the book. So if you're cool with it, I'm going to read about what the book is about.
Sure. Go for it.
Love is your essence, the unshakable truth at your core. Deep within, we all long for the peace that truly embodying love will bring. In 2008, 3 powerful words, Love Ignites Peace, came to Paige in an unexpected yet profound moment. Over time, they became a guiding force that transformed her life by revealing a clear path to self-healing, joy, and peace. Through the message of Love Ignites Peace, you are invited to embark on a deeply personal journey of self-discovery and transformation. Along the way, you'll uncover how universal patterns woven into both our personal and collective human experience have shaped your self-perceptions, relationships, and sense of empowerment, or lack thereof. You'll also gain awareness of how both love and the destructive patterns of not love have influenced your beliefs about yourself and how you engage with others. You will learn about Love 6 Actions, which are mini workshops structured for you to transform your relationships, even your most challenging ones, so you can respond with love and feel peace. As you become the all things good frequency of love, the energy that fuels your happiness, abundance, freedom, creativity, unconditional love, and peace, you will begin to live your unlimited human potential. The book is more than a word on a page. It is an awakening. Love Ignites Peace, Our Next Evolution will guide you to heal past wounds, embrace love as a way of being, and create thriving, healthy relationships. One person at a time, becoming love will empower a collective shift in our human experience. Your next evolution starts here. So, although that really covers it, tell us a little bit about the book in your voice, Mom.
Well, this book has been brewing within me for many, many years. I've known for a really long time that I was supposed to write a book. And so I started writing about 5 or 6 years ago, just putting my ideas on paper. And as I started to put them on paper, I could see a voice coming through. I could hear my voice starting to come through on this and really be able to speak about the message of Love Ignites Peace. One of my challenges with all of this is that the message of Love Ignites Peace is such a broad message.
Mm-hmm.
That has been one of my biggest challenges because you have to write about love because that is the centerpiece. Without love, you cannot ignite peace. So there was this huge learning about love from a perspective that I had never really had before. And I've always considered myself a kind and loving person most of the time. But this is love from such a bigger perspective. It is really about creating love as an experience for each other in our lives. So think of like you go to a store And this store has created a beautiful experience. You feel that when you walk in the store. And so the idea of love ignites peace is so that we can literally create the experience of love for each other in all of our interactions so that we can then ignite peace. Because peace is something that I believe as a collective and individuals we long for.
Well, and your book really talks about the fact that that love that you want to spread to others, it starts with you.
100%.
The whole premise is
Yes.
initially you talk about love of self and love of others, but it begins with love of self.
It does. And in the book, it talks about Love Ignites Peace as a parallel journey. It's one where you walk that path of love of self, which is the foundation for everything. Because your relationship with yourself, 100%, determines the quality of all your other relationships. And then the other parallel path is walking the parallel path of being able to interact with love and create love as an experience, love as an action for other people, for everybody that you come in contact with. And you have to have both if you're going to create an individual experience that blossoms into a collective experience.
Right. Yeah, no, I love that. I love that. Well, I want to hear, and I think those listening, we know that this moment of Love Ignites Peace was birthed from a personal journey. So tell us a little bit about your journey that led to the creation of this book, and perhaps even a little bit that you share in the book.
Well, I talk about getting the message, love ignites peace. Just one of those random moments in time. I wasn't expecting it. It just popped into my brain. Pop is kind of a soft word. It really was like lightning strike into my brain. But before that, I'd had some health issues. And so this whole process was my awakening. It was my journey to being more self-aware so I could literally transcend and heal and transform beyond what was keeping me living in a cycle of what I call not love.
Mm-hmm.
And not love is really how, as a society, for thousands and thousands of years, we've really been programmed to interact with each other. We've not been programmed to interact with love, and that means with ourselves or with each other.
So tell us a little bit more about not love. What is not love? How would you define it? What does that look like?
Not love would be words or actions of any sort that create an experience that takes away from another human being, that makes another human being feel bad about themselves.
But you can also have not love to yourself.
Oh my gosh, yes. Not love to yourself for sure. I mean, you can look in the mirror and go, gosh, I wish, or I don't like this, or why do I always... Not love comes in so many versions. Yes, not love to yourself and not love that we've taken out into the world. The ironic thing is most of that not love that we think about ourselves is something that we've heard from someone else, usually about us, or we've watched television and we've come to believe that if we aren't exactly like this, we aren't perfect, we aren't lovable. There's just so many ways that the world perpetuates not love.
Well, and I think that for you in your book, not love is actually the beginning of your story.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So can you share a story with us about your experience of not love in this journey of becoming love?
When I was in junior high, I had a angry mother of a friend show up at my house. And she was very angry at me. And of course, I had done all these bad things. I had said all these bad things. And when you're 12 years old and you have someone else's parent in particular telling you what a rotten egg you are, it really makes an impact. And it made a big impact on my life. I honestly couldn't even hardly talk about this idea or this incident until I was in my 40s because I ended up feeling so much shame about what had happened when I was 12 years old and shame about this mom spewing her anger at me for something that I said. And shame, as we know, is a huge not love piece of the world that we continue to perpetuate in each other.
Well, the irony was that you hadn't even done anything that bad.
I guess that's a matter of perspective, but yes, I don't think I had done anything that bad.
Well, you'll have to read the book to hear the whole story.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, you hadn't. And then it went on to create this whole journey for you where then you took those beliefs, you internalized them, and it changed how you showed up with friends, with other girls, with, romantic relationships. It was kind of the root of so much.
And what was interesting is when I look back in my life, I mean, that was kind of a random out of the blue attack. My parents weren't home. That parent, the friend's mom, never contacted my parents and said, "I'm upset that Paige said something. How do we handle this?" She just showed up at the door basically berating me. And when I looked back in my life, I've had multiple incidences where people just literally out of the blue start attacking me. And so even that is a not love program that I put in my psyche, if you will.
Yeah, unknowingly.
That I am an open target for random people to attack, that I have a target on my back.
So how much is this theme of patterns, so to speak, touched on, repeated, explored in your book?
Oh, quite a bit. In fact, in chapter 5, when we go into the subconscious mind, what you see is how these patterns really become the seeds that end up growing the conscious you that shows up in the world. And you don't even realize it. So it's really becoming this deeply self-aware person so that you can identify what these patterns are, what these programs are that are causing you to feel not love about yourself. And thus, as you feel not love about yourself, you unknowingly continue to perpetuate that cycle of not love for other people.
Yeah, and I just quickly want to expand upon this idea of love versus not love, right? Not love is everything that is the opposite of love. So anything that doesn't feel good, anything that doesn't come from a place of love is not love. Anger,
resentment,
hatred,
shame, guilt, revenge, manipulation,
judgment, jealousy.
Yes, all these things that we've really, as a society, kind of been taught that's how we stand up for ourselves. It's the bully that is the powerful one. It's the one that speaks the loudest that gets the most attention.
Yeah, and I think what's so profound for people that read the book is that we don't want to feel those things anymore. Who wants to walk around feeling shame or judgment or, just these low vibe feelings? So the reality is this is a guide that helps on so many levels, right? It helps you become that love in your life and the world. And obviously that again is the frequency, the energy that builds all things good. But it's miraculous, I feel, the transformation that this book is able to provide in just starting to look at the idea that you don't have to live in this lower vibrational state. Tangible, actionable way for you to actually get your freak on, raise your vibration, to go up that scale from not love to love, to start feeling better, because that's the reality. As you shed these layers, as you move away from shame and rejection and hate, you feel lighter, you feel better. It just is what it is. Like that is measurable. David Hawkins put that on his scale of consciousness, and so it's really profound what it does for yourself just in the way you feel, and then how it starts transforming your life from there. Like step 1 is you feel better. Step 2, it seems to be, then you start changing the way you're showing up in the world and that parallel path you talk about. Then all of a sudden you're being loved. Does that resonate with you?
Oh, 100%. I mean, not love. We have to create we've created a consciousness or a self-awareness of how to react and interact using not love, because that's what we've been taught for thousands and thousands of years. And not love is so yesterday. And now we need to just change this lens of perception, change this lens of how we interact with each other, including ourselves, so that we can create literally a new self-awareness, a new consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
And that sounds maybe pie in the sky, or it might even sound a little complicated. It's really not. And that's one thing that I really tried to do when I was writing this book. And I thank you for saying what you said, is that it really does create an actionable guide to help people embrace
Mm-hmm.
a different path, a path towards creating a different experience for themselves and for ultimately for the collective.
Yeah, and actually, I want to read this additional testimonial because it talks about exactly what you're saying. So it says, I have read hundreds of books on love, human effectiveness, leadership, relational intelligence, and spirituality. All of them espouse looking inward, but typically they fall short in showing us how. This book is a straightforward synthesis of the best way to see the limitations of our mental patterns and how to evolve beyond them, using current neurosomatic insights and ancient wisdom. Paige shows us how to work with our not love patterns and challenge our self-limiting beliefs while setting up an internal code of conduct that quickly returns us back to love so we can put love into action. I am making this requisite reading for my coaching clients as it will surely accelerate our work. That quote is by Jan Boxer, who is an executive and relational coach, CEO of Strategic Partners, Inc., and she also has her master's. So very exciting, and that makes me want to go to the next question. So we've been talking a lot about this idea of not love, and you've touched on this concept of, mental patterns and how to evolve them, your subconscious programming, so to speak, self-limiting beliefs. I want to quickly go back to that story and ask you, what are some of the self-limiting beliefs that you created from that middle school incident?
Oh, I am bad. I deserve to be punished. I deserve to be punished for what I say. I don't deserve friends. Like, some of these programs were really, really deep for me. And I think it unfolds differently for everyone. Some people are raised in a home where there's conflict and chaos all the time. They're subjected with greater regularity of people calling them down or calling them out or making them feel bad for who they are. My experience wasn't like that. But I still had these moments in my life, these profound moments where things happened, traumas, if you will, many little traumas that created these self-beliefs that were damaging. Just like it's damaging for someone to live in an environment that is really a not love environment, those not love beliefs can also get installed just in the moments of your life, in traumas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the point I love that you're making here, I think is so profound, is like everyone's experience is relative.
It is.
So even if you haven't had a major trauma, there's still mini traumas or little moments of impact, so to speak, that could have planted these self-limiting beliefs. Like, just to share a story of someone that I was chatting with this same topic about the other day, who's read your book. She was sharing with me that she didn't even realize how she had these limiting beliefs because she had a great upbringing. She had a great childhood. She's close with her family. All is well. No major traumas. But then she started unpacking how these little moments, for example, she was sharing with me that she was in gymnastics once when she was little, and some of the girls there were snickering at her and then told her that she wasn't good and were making fun of her. And she never went back to gymnastics. And to this day, as a grown adult, she has fear of trying athletic endeavors.
Mm.
And she's actually a very athletic person, but she's afraid that she won't be good at it and she'll be made fun of.
And the sad thing is that robs her of joy in her life that she could be having if she just felt free to go enjoy volleyball on the beach or whatever it might be.
It's so funny you said volleyball on the beach because that was actually something she ended up not participating in until she uncovered this. She didn't want to be in the beach volleyball league with her friends and her boyfriend because she was afraid she would embarrass herself. And she's not that kind of person. Like, you meet this person and she's just not like that. So I just think it's so important for everyone listening to realize, like, again, look at these patterns, look at these moments, look at these not love experiences in your life. Where do you feel fear? Where do you feel shame? Where do you feel judgment? Where do you feel resistance? And under that's all this information. And the book, Love Ignites Peace, Our Next Evolution, is really what helps you not only unpack that, and not in a traumatic way, but in a very actionable, like lens of love way through Love Six Actions. So we haven't even talked about Love Six Actions yet, which are the cornerstone of the book. So let's dive into those. What are those?
Well, you have a great acronym for it. You like to call it UDAFAR.
You do them, you'll go far. You go far.
A Love Six Actions, Love of Self is an internal code of conduct for you to follow in your own life with your relationship with yourself. Love Six Actions, Love of Others, which again, parallel tracks, is really your external code of conduct for interacting in the world and creating that experience of love for all the people that you come in contact with. So Love Six Actions are understand. That would be understand you and everyone else has a story. And that story has contributed greatly to the human being that they are today, to all the self-beliefs that they've accumulated, to all the traumas they've had, all the joys they've had, everything. The second one is discern instead of judge. And what I have to say about judgment is judgment, like not love, is so yesterday. We have got to move past judgment in our world and start acting with discernment, which discernment is asking why. Discernment is putting yourself in someone else's shoes, if you can, that empathy and saying, what caused this person to act that way? Instead of immediately jumping to judgment. Or when you're looking at Love Six Actions, Love of Self, what has caused me to act that way or to react that way or to feel the way I'm feeling? What triggered me in that instance? Instead of judging all of that, let's really get to the root with discernment so that we can pull whatever it is out by the root if it's not serving us and be done with it. The third one is allow. And what you're doing is you're allowing yourself and others to learn from all of your life's experiences. And sometimes we so feel like life is happening to us instead of for us. And when you really start looking at your life through the lens of what have I experienced in my life, you really truly can gain the wisdom then of how is my life working for me? Because maybe you don't want to keep repeating those patterns. When you look at all you've experienced, I looked at the fact that multiple times people attacked me out of the blue. I didn't want to keep having that experience. That was something I had to go, oh my gosh, looking back at my experiences, that is something I need to learn from because I don't want to perpetuate that cycle.
Mm-hmm.
The fourth one is forgive. And really forgiveness, it becomes so much easier when you understand everyone has a story, when you can discern the whys behind their behavior, and when you can really allow another person to just have their experience without trying to control it or stop it or judge it or get in the way of it in any way, shape, or form. The fifth one is accept everyone as they are. And I think as a society, maybe we're getting a little better at this. Baby steps, I'm not sure. But just accept everyone as they are. We're all here to have different experiences so we can evolve and grow beyond those experiences. And just like you're here to have an experience, your neighbor next door is here to have an experience. And it's completely different from yours, but it's still their experience. Just accept them where they are. And then the last one is respect. And I think this is a really big one. We have to respect each other as human beings. We have to respect ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Respect everyone's unique journey.
Yeah, I love it. So, who would you say this book is for and who is this book not for?
I think this book is for people who want to become more self-aware. If you really have no interest, zero interest in becoming self-aware, then this probably isn't the book for you. But if you're really interested in manifesting your human potential, because love truly is the root of all human potential, then this book is for you. Even if you're just stepping into the I'm interested in self-awareness arena.
I also think, though, not to discount on the other side, even if you've been in the self-awareness arena.
Oh, yes.
Like, I think that this book does cover a spectrum. You just have to be interested in that self-growth.
Mm-hmm.
It's just very actionable. I feel like it's a really good reminder It's a really good way to actually take the steps to create the transformation and be consistent. Because I think sometimes we know what we should do. We know how we should respond, right? Respond versus react, or choose the loving versus the not loving action, thought, feeling thing to say. But if you have this little UTFR, okay, wait, what's going to take me far? Okay, what's going to take me farther? Got it. Okay, wait, I got to understand, discern, allow, forgive, accept, respect. This 6-step process that's actually quite quick when you put it into action in your day-to-day, I think it can help anybody. Now, to the other side of that spectrum, it also is a very deep exploration. And that makes you want to bring up the journal. So there's a companion journal that also goes with this book. And it is to support that deep dive, correct?
100%. And it is a deep dive. And if you do this journal from start to finish, I am guaranteeing you will be transforming many, many things in your life.
Yeah.
The first step is really identifying what you need to transform.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are multiple ways in the journal that offer paths to how you actually transform beyond this. And I want to go back to your point where you said people would be interested in reading this book who are relatively self-aware. I think it would be very good for people to read this book who are relatively self-aware, because I believe it can take them even deeper into a self-awareness and a self-discovery that they might not even have realized prior.
Yeah, it's the deeper part. And this makes me want to read another testimonial. And this one's from Foster Harding, who's a PhD and author of Creation is a Love Song. And he says, through deep examination of her own life, Paige Farrington has developed a profoundly wise process for examining your own life and rising above whatever has blocked you from becoming your true self, a being of unconditional love. Love ignites peace. Our next evolution wastes no words. It packs an amazing amount of useful information into its modest number of pages. Every sentence is relevant and useful. After 8 decades, I thought I was well along in my spiritual journey. Now I am delighted that Paige has offered more insights to take me further towards that ultimate goal of being unconditional love. And that goes to exactly what we were just saying.
Yeah.
And, Foster is so self-reflective. He's an author, he's a PhD. And for him to say that, I think, is such a profound testament to what you were just sharing. This is an opportunity for you to grow and deepen your experience. And I don't know how to explain this to everyone, but it's done in an easy way.
Well, you don't have to. They just need to read the book.
You're right.
Or it will be out in audiobook and an ebook. So there'll be multiple formats for people, depending on how you like to, consume your content.
Yeah, I actually think it's a great time. So where can they find this book?
You will be able to find it on Amazon. You can also find it through Ingram Spark.
And you can find it at lovingnightspeace.com.
Yes, you can.
And you started to say this, but I want to repeat this. You can get it in paperback, but you can also get it on Kindle, and you can also get it on audiobook. So before we close last thoughts here, I just wanted to ask one quick question, or for you to elaborate on this, because if you have been listening to our podcast, our favorite igniters out there, we so appreciate you tuning in always. Then you will have known that we had released this book back in 2023, as I mentioned earlier in the podcast. So can you just quickly answer, why did you re-release, expand, republish 2 years later?
Well, the book was actually never officially released in 2023. There was a story behind why we did what we did. Basically, we had to enact the trademark for Love Ignites Peace, and we needed a series of books to do that. So I released the book in its early, not 100% finished form to enact the trademark in 2023, which honestly worked out great because we had a group of readers that read the book, and has been great because they gave me tons of feedback, and really all surprisingly great feedback about the book. So then after we were able to enact the trademark, then it was a process for me to go back and expand on certain chapters and ideas and refine. And, if you've never published a book before, it actually takes a little bit more time to bring a book to full publication than what you might think it would take.
Yeah, absolutely. So I love that answer, because really it's like, it was done very quickly, very impressively. And now it's really to the place that you feel confident to release it to the world as is. We never, printed it. You never had it on audio. Like it was a PDF basically.
Yes.
For that quick turnaround. So no, I love that and would highly recommend that anybody that read it the first time would do a reread with this expanded version because you're going to get so much more out of it. And this time you also have the companion journal to go with it. So you can really do the work side by side.
I actually think this is a book that if you really, really, truly want to absorb it, you need to read it and listen to it more than once. And even Foster Harding, who you were reading the review, he told me he read this book twice.
Wow.
That he wanted to go back and reread it because there was just so much in there that he needed to really absorb.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, the other thing is keep an eye out on lovingnightspeace.com because we will be doing workshops around the workbook and there's other resources online, even posters of Love 6 actions that you can print out or phone backgrounds you can have that we've designed for you. So visit lovingnightspeace.com/r-next-evolution-book. And there's tons of resources on there for you to engage with the book and the journal and with us in deeper ways as well as you read along. So we are so grateful that you guys have tuned in. And before we close out, Mom, I want to ask what final words you have to share with the igniters and future readers of Love Ignites Peace, Our Next Evolution.
At Love Ignites Peace, we talk about Get Your Freak On, which is basically raising your frequency. All of these thoughts, feelings, and emotions have a frequency. And so I can guarantee you that when you read this book, you will raise your frequency. And even if you just open it up to certain sections and read a chapter, your frequency will be raised.
Yeah.
You are going to feel very good when you get to the end of this book.
Amen. I love it. Well, with that, I want to read one last quote here, one last testimonial, because I just think these are so profound. Dr. Deborah Zeff, who's a PhD, a doctorate of natural medicine, author of Earth Treasures 1 and 2, she says, "This book reveals to our souls the steps to take to become the frequency of love. It's a treasure chest filled with doable actions and relatable analogies that can help us understand and gain awareness of who we truly are. It guides us into the why and how of our programming, as well as provides insight into the way people view us. How thought-provoking to create a better me in this world through love, igniting peace. This book is Hidden Powers of Beauty. It's a must-read." And on that note, everyone, get your copy of Love Ignites Peace, Our Next Evolution in so many different ways. As we said, audio, paperback, Kindle, on Amazon, on lovingnightspeace.com, on Ingram Spark. So we can't wait for you to read.
Thank you, everyone, for your love and support, for the time it's taken me to write this book. Thank you, Ashlyn, for your love and support. And also thank your brother. He was one of my first readers.
Oh, we love that.
Yes.
Well, to everyone listening, get your freak on.
And as always, I am sending you love from my heart to yours.